Hey guys, so you ready for today's September 24th, 2018, 6:32 a.m. Central Time. So it's been quite a few weeks since I've done a YouTube public video, so I figured I'd throw this up because a few people were wondering where the hell I was and making sure I was okay. But my material has moved strictly to Patreon. So if you want to follow me, you're going to have to go over there. Otherwise, I also post on Twitter, specifically generally, to congressional politicians and just generic shit. So I am on Twitter, so you have to follow me there. Otherwise, YouTube, I've kind of dismissed at this point. Once my channel was deleted, it's gotten to the point where I have lost interest in doing shit on YouTube. So, tough cookies. God forbid my last video I just posted a day or so ago that I caught some redneck jackass on my dash cam at Jack in the Box bungee cording his drive-through meal to the back of his motorcycle. I have ridden for years. It has never occurred to me once to go through a drive-through on my motorcycle. If that is his only transportation, then that is a much bigger problem for him, considering I'm in Missouri. So he's got to have something else going on. And if he doesn't, somebody else's retarded comment, which, by the way, a lot of people found it funny. Some people didn't. The people who didn't left wonderful, obnoxious comments. One of which, someone said, what was he supposed to starve to death? Are you fucking serious right now? Starve to death? I'm pretty sure someone who's going to Jack in the Box as a patron is not starving to death. So that person was ridiculous. But anyway, I digress. So if you, generally though, if you do want to follow me, you'll have to be on Patreon. I was sick for quite a while, so some of my material is missing from there. But anyway, Judge Kavanaugh's sexual misconduct allegations. Here's the deal. If you do follow me on Patreon, that you know that prior to him being picked, the very, very short list that Trump had put out that included Kavanaugh, that stupid Amy chick, and a couple others, my choice was Brett Kavanaugh. So I even tweeted to Trump, do not pick Amy, pick Kavanaugh, for many reasons. And indeed, he actually did. So I thought that was ironic. But anyway, I know quite a bit about Brett. Now, whether or not he did these sexual misconducts is a whole other story. Do I believe he has, as a female, opinion and everything else in the hashtag movement of Me Too? Okay, the Me Too movement has gotten ridiculous, politicized, misused, and everything else. I do not believe these women coming forward with these sexual allegations. First off, this bitch, Dr. Ford, okay, I don't believe whatsoever, at all. This is a 36-year-old allegation of him basically fondling this bitch when she was 15-year-old drunk at some party, says Kavanaugh was drunk, and basically, that's it. He just tried to fondle her and take her clothes off and attempt to rape her. Supposedly, right? But she didn't get raped. She didn't do anything. And I posted on my Patreon account that it's not like she got raped. It's not like she got gangbanged or anything of that nature. And I said that yesterday, or the day before. And actually, I had a conversation with my mom, because she was in town, about this situation. Because, of course, it's all over the news. My mom, is obviously a later generation. I'm a late millennial, and she had me a little late in the game. She literally said to me, if this had happened to her, okay, she would have kept her motherfucking mouth shut at this point in the game. That she never would have caused this controversy. It's not like anything major happened. Had something major happened, it would have been something she could have reported in her 20s, in her 30s, whatever, because Maryland does not have any type of statute of limitations when it comes to sexual misconduct of any kind. And this came out in a 2012 couples session, supposedly, right? Here's the deal. Her facts, okay, are scattered everywhere. She doesn't even have facts. She doesn't know where, when. She just is picking sometime in the 80s. She doesn't know who the four people that this bitch alleged were there, okay, in this document in which Feinstein threw out at the very end of these hearings, when the hearings have been closed, okay, they were closed. They were about to vote on him. She throws this paper out of this anonymous person, okay, didn't even give, to this day, the Republicans an unredacted copy. Please explain that shit to me. But apparently there were 4 people she listed. All four people, as of yesterday, have responded saying they did not attend this party, they don't know what she's talking about, and a couple of them said they don't even know who the fuck Kavanaugh is. So all of her, quote, witnesses, okay, that she named, totally are discrediting her. And those were the only things she had as, quote, facts. And then they want an FBI investigation. The fucking females in the Judiciary Committee, Hirono specifically, comes out in a fucking conference telling the men, though I think she even said white men, but I think she said men of this country are the ones that are the problems, and that they need to stand up and shut up, or something of that nature, and listen to this type of shit that's going on. Apparently, we have no due process in this country when it comes to sexual misconduct allegations of any kind. We are automatically supposed to believe the women coming forward towards Judge Kavanaugh or anyone else, okay? And that the men have to prove that they didn't do it, okay? And that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And everybody on the Republican side has mentioned, not politicians really, but the Republican side, whether it be Fox News, because no one else is talking about it, and a few commentators and whatnot, have said, well, what about Keith Ellison's accuser? Keith Ellison is one of the second top Democrats. He's the fucking, not chairman, but co-chairman of the DNC, who is running for attorney general in Minnesota, I believe. His ex claims that he was abusive to her. She has medical records that actually prove this. She has come out on Twitter because nobody was taking her serious, and any of that shit. So the Democrats pick and choose what women's comments about sexual misconduct are true or not. Okay, this was the best part. Someone it was a footage of some reporter, I don't even know who it was for, asked the chairman of the DNC, Perez, what was going on with the misconduct of abuse and everything else by this woman, his ex-girlfriend, against Keith Ellison. He said, this is priceless, that the DNC of Minnesota, I believe that's where it is doing an investigation. Really? Really? So if the Republicans said, well, the RNC is doing an investigation in Maryland about this situation, the Democrats would have a hissy fit. All of them are calling for an FBI investigation. And people are pushing this, and they are eating it up. The FBI does not investigate situations like this. Period. There is no federal crime that has taken place for them to investigate anything. The local jurisdiction that this happened in, which she only knows the county, okay, she doesn't even know the house. She doesn't know how she got there. She doesn't know how she got home. Okay, she doesn't know shit. So there's no facts for an investigation to have even follow anything. Okay, this is a 36-year-old accusation, but she has given no facts. that whether it be FBI or local police department or anything of that nature to even investigate to begin with. But the FBI does not do this type of shit. And the fact that Hirono, that Feinstein, that every woman, including Blumenthal, who believes this bitch, oh yeah, he's real truthful. The dude that said he was a veteran of the Vietnam War, okay, and turns out he lied, okay, how he still has a seat in the Senate, how the people of Connecticut keep voting that motherfucker in makes no sense whatsoever. And I even tweeted it to that jackass when he said that he believed her. I'm like, what the fuck do you know about truth? Okay, so it's like everybody's saying, do an FBI investigation. The fact that that Judge Kavanaugh is not calling for an FBI investigation means he's not an innocent person. That's what fucking, what the hell's her name? I want to say Blackburn, but that's not right. Gillibrand. Gillibrand has said several times in interviews, okay? Again, the people who choose not to know and figure out and look at all the different media sites that are out there, all the different Republican commentators that are out there, whether it be Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, those random people. Yeah, both of them are actually Fox commentators now too. But beside the point, if they're not looking through Twitter to other random ass users who are stating the same thing I'm doing right now, they believe these people. They believe them. And they say they do need to do an FBI investigation. And it needs to be opened up. Here's the deal. The situation, okay, and I'll go into the other two allegations that have since surfaced in the last 48 hours. During the confirmation of the judge that's sitting on the court right now, what the hell is his name? Thomas something or other. I'm missing his name right now. Anyway, he's a black judge that's on the court right now. Male. Can't think of his name right now. He was, during his confirmation, accused of harassment, sexual harassment and otherwise, by Anita Hill, who keeps coming up. Okay, and she testified in front of Congress quite extensively to the degree of very specific shit. She had no one to collaborate her story either. And he ended up getting confirmed. And he ended up saying, basically during his hearing, at the very end, that he cannot believe that the Judiciary Committee actually took this seriously and did a hearing on this situation when there was no proof behind this. And that it was sad and pathetic, and I don't remember the words he used, okay? But he made it very clear. He ended up getting confirmed by Democrats and Republicans. The difference between these two cases, the FBI did get involved, as far as I know, in that particular case because she claimed this shit happened to her while she was at work. She was working for the federal government. This happened on the federal government's watch, okay? It's not like she was in some random state and he did this to her. So in other words, the FBI had jurisdiction over this. So they had to look into this. They looked into it, found nothing. Dude's sitting on the Supreme Court. This is a totally different situation. Since this allegation has come out from Ford, which, by the way, she keeps pushing the goal. I mean, the lawyers for this bitch are so sketchy. So sketchy. They are part of the Clinton team, okay? They are part of, from what I understand, McCabe is part, legally, something's going on. I caught a very snippet, and then I never even bothered to look it up because it was just painful. Something to do with McCabe is part of this legal team too, now. Okay? They're all liberal Democrats. The people that they have had clients before are ridiculous and have had allegations against specific people that have never been proven. Okay? So her legal team is sketchy. This bitch's demands to the Judiciary Committee are ridiculous. And the fact that that Grassley has even approved, okay, and agreed to 6 out of the 10 demands, which I don't even know a whole 10, is ridiculous. They should never have done it. Grassley should have set a time, a date, and simplistically, because yeah, she's not a politician, she's never been in a bunch of in front of cameras and shit, maybe limiting, cameras in her face. All right, maybe that's something. And I think that's what they agreed to. But she wanted it to be a specific camera angle. I don't know if that's what they agreed to, but she wanted a specific camera angle. The 2 things that this bitch wanted, okay, are ridiculous. One was the fact she wanted Brett Kavanaugh, Judge Kavanaugh, to go first, and she would go second. Are you fucking serious? Is her legal team really serious about this? How in the hell would Brett Kavanaugh go before her? He doesn't even know what exactly she's accusing him of. All she can go by is what has been leaked to the public in media. And the fact this bitch went straight to the Washington Post, okay, before anything even happened. She wanted to stay anonymous. Well, when her name got out there or whatever, she went straight to the Washington Post and did some editorial bullshit. Are you kidding me? What the hell are you even thinking? And then she says she cannot fly to D.C. She couldn't make it Monday, which is today. She couldn't make it Wednesday, which is what the Republicans in the Senate had said. Let's do it Wednesday. And so they're supposed to do it, and have supposedly agreed for Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern in the Judiciary Committee. The other thing that she has demanded is that no lawyer can ask her questions. No lawyer. Only the committee members can ask her questions. Excuse me? What the fuck? First of all, there's like Cruz, Graham, there's quite a few others that have been lawyers that have actually argued cases to the Supreme Court. Okay? So they are lawyers. So, okay, whatever. But Kavanaugh got a female lawyer, okay, to represent him. And they were going to have her question her, okay? Because apparently this whole old white men comment that Joy, whatever the fuck her last name is, on The View has coined, old white men of the Judiciary Committee are the ones running the show, okay? And that is stuck. That is actually stuck in the Democrats' talking points. In the public who believes this bitch, talking points. Okay? So they went out of their way and found a female lawyer. Well, Ford doesn't want to talk to any lawyers. Go fuck yourself. Then I heard, but I haven't seen anything, that she didn't want to go under oath. And if that's fucking true, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? If that's true, that's a ridiculous comment as well. So her demands have been illogical, have been totally not part of how our justice system even works. This is not a criminal case. This is an odd situation. This is a Senate hearing. The Senate has rules. The Senate gave her 1 week notice to do this hearing, which would have been today, Monday, okay, after they figured out and found out about these allegations, which Feinstein, to this day, has not given the Republicans the full letter, the unredacted letter, okay? They followed Senate rules because that is a rule. They have to give this person a week. So they did. They have bent over backwards for this bitch. She doesn't want to fly to DC because she doesn't like confined spaces. But yet somehow her ass worked in Hawaii recently, whether it be the last few years or whatever. How the hell did you get to Hawaii, Mrs. Ford? And that's why I'm going to call you Mrs. Ford, because you do not even have the brains, okay, to be a professor to begin with. And you know what? This woman is so goddamn damaged, like mentally damaged, because apparently this is screwed up her life, that she has to have several doors in one room in order to live her life. Well, guess what? I want to send somebody to her motherfucking house and see how many goddamn doors she has in her house to see exactly how true that is. I would love to send someone to that bitch's house who has gone in hiding because she is getting death threats. You think? You think you're not going to get death threats, you stupid motherfucker who doesn't remember shit. Yet she said in a 2012 couples therapy session that this happened, that she named Kavanaugh as the person, and that she was concerned that he would possibly become a SCOTUS judge one day in 2012. And that, my friends, was said by Mr. Ford, not her, in the public. Mr. Ford said that that's what she said during that therapy session. Where the fuck are these therapist notes? Where are these notes? The Senate needs to subpoena that shit and figure out how true that shit is, okay? This bitch is damaged, mentally damaged. I don't know how the hell the Democrats found this cunt. I really don't. Supposedly, she sent this letter to Feinstein a few months ago, okay? She went to the representative in California where she lives, who then passed it on to Feinstein. She wanted to stay anonymous and all this bullshit. They obviously didn't think it would be that big of a deal, and they didn't want to deal with it at the time it happened. So, of course, they put it in their back pocket when they realized he was indeed going to get confirmed out of the Judiciary Committee. Okay, out of the Judiciary Committee, which he would then hit the floor and get voted on, and more likely than not, become a SCOTUS judge. She pulls this shit out of the back pocket and says this shit. It was like, what? Are you serious? And the thing that I find very interesting, the only connection that Kavanaugh has with this woman, because he didn't even know who the hell had these allegations against him until he saw the Washington Post's article. Okay? He didn't even know who she was until that happened. Turns out that Mrs. Ford, okay, her parents, okay, had a home that was going into foreclosure that went to a judge and had their case heard. And that couple lost their home, who happens to be Mrs. Ford's parents, okay? Who happens to be, that judge happens to be Kavanaugh's mother. That is the only connection that these two have 100% as a fact. Kavanaugh's mother ended up ruling against Mrs. Ford's parents, and they lost their fucking home. That, my friends, would obviously be a vendetta for this bitch to go after Kavanaugh. This whole situation stinks to high heaven. Then another bitch comes out the other day and says that Kavanaugh exposed himself at some party. It's so interesting that all these things happened at parties, okay? When this slut, by the way, Mrs. Ford, all her social media has been scrubbed, and so is her yearbooks. Well, guess what? I actually saw it because somebody posted it, had actually taken screenshots of this bitch's yearbook that happened to be online before it got pulled. And it proves this cunt is a drunkie. This cunt is not so fucking innocent, even in her college years. Okay? So, it's ridiculous in that sense. Anyway, this other bitch, okay, says he exposed himself and that he was drunk and that she was drunk. She even admits she's drunk. And that when she pushed him away, she accidentally touched his penis. That's hilarious. Hilarious. What a ridiculous allegation to begin with. So she's come out. Wonder what kind of connection she's got. Probably none other than to the Democratic Party. Then, this is priceless. 2 days ago at this point, I had posted something on my Patreon account talking about this bitch, Mrs. Ford, saying that she should have kept her mouth shut. Nothing fucking happened to this cunt. She didn't get raped. She didn't get gang raped. I literally said that in my post, okay? This is a 36-year-old allegation that she has no facts or memory of 100%. No facts or memory of this situation whatsoever, okay? And she should have kept her mouth shut. Instead, she didn't, okay? And the 4 people she even said happened all deny this happening, and basically a couple of them, because they don't know Kavanaugh, said they don't even know Kavanaugh, okay? Should have kept her mouth shut. But in that post, I said those 2 things. She wasn't raped and she wasn't gang raped. And if she had been, okay, and it was a 36-year-old, allegation, I would be interested in this story. I would be interested to hear what she has to say. This hearing, what the fuck is this bitch going to say that we don't already know, other than come out with, quote, details that all of a sudden she remembers? But she's already said that all he did was, quote, grope her, okay, and try and tear her clothes off, and, quote, basically would have raped her had Kavanaugh not been drunk. That's what she has said recently. So what's she going to say during this hearing? My breast was groped and my button on my shirt popped open, but yet I got away. Because her ass said that she hid in a closet until she heard the 2 men, which is Judge is the other guy, his last name, stumbled down the hallway, down the stairs to make sure they weren't in the room anymore. So whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Am I downplaying that that's a situation that is okay? No, it's not. If someone does that to you, then you need to fucking report it. Whether you're 15 or 40. And if you're... and it's happened like 20 years ago. You have the opportunity, the right, if you're in a specific state that has no statutory limitations, which she's in, to go ahead and report it to the police department and have the police department look into it. What they're going to look into, God knows, there's no facts. Okay? She doesn't know what house. Okay? But that's where it needs to start. Has she done that and taken that step? No, she hasn't. Okay? She hasn't. This is a ridiculous story. And where I was saying with the whole post that I made on Patreon, saying gang raped or raped, poof! Yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, right after my post, the following day, Stormy slut-ass Daniels, lawyer, Mike, what is his name? Michael something or other, who thinks he's gonna actually run for president. Hilarious. He has a client, which he has not revealed who it is. He has denied it being the person who said that Kavanaugh exposed himself to her. That's all he's denied. But he said he has a person who has credible story, and I think he even said evidence. I'd have to look it up on Twitter. Okay? That a credible story or whatever the fuck, that Kavanaugh and his friends actually targeted women who were drunk and attempted, and did, I think, either way, to gang rape them. Really? Really? I have yet to hear, though, even though it's kind of a new situation, he hasn't released who it is. Supposedly he's supposed to release that name today. that Democrats have jumped on his motherfucking wagon and said that that's true and that needs to be investigated. I question whether or not they choose to. Because of how wonderful Michael really is. Michael Pooh is a nutcase. And not too many people probably want to align themselves, whether they be Democrat, politician or not, and believe him. If this person comes forward that he is supposedly representing and has serious evidence of some sort, then the Democrats might jump on the bandwagon, okay? But to go from sexual misconduct of attempted rape to exposing himself to now targeting women who are drunk to gang rape them. How ridiculous. Kavanaugh does not carry the behavior, first of all, through his entire life to have even done something like this at all. He doesn't have the characteristics. He's had numerous letters from not only people that have known him throughout his life, okay, because he was a teacher, a professor, that have backed him up. The way he's conducted himself even recently with his family. He's a coach. He goes to church. He is a judge on the on the DC court system, okay? All this shit. And all of a sudden, this shit's popping up right now. Okay? And he's actually had ex-girlfriends who's he's dated during that time period that have come out and said Kavanaugh was not like that. He was not like that. They did not hear anything about that situation. Nothing. Then someone, this is priceless, went on, I believe, Facebook that knew Ford, Mrs. Ford, and posted a post that said that this accusation that Ford has made happened. And she told people about it when she specifically said she didn't. Told people about it, and it had been discussed and talked about at school for days afterwards. Then the bitch deletes her post once people started to contact her. She had to go back on whatever social media site she was on because she deleted it, and she has since, I believe, deleted or postponed or closed her account or made it private or whatever the fuck. It said that basically in her post she said something like, she made a mistake or some shit. There is no one to back up Mrs. Ford's story. Mrs. Ford's facts don't even exist. If the FBI were to get into this situation, who has done 6 background checks on Kavanaugh in the last 10, 15, 25, whatever years he's been in public service, has never come up, okay? If the FBI were to get involved in this, what are they supposed to fucking investigate? There's no facts to investigate. Nothing. What are they supposed to investigate? And she wants a Senate committee to have these witnesses, have Judge, the guy with the last name Judge, I don't know his first name, to be called and testify. She wants the other 2 people she named who have come out and said, no, this didn't happen. And one of them said they didn't even know Kavanaugh, to testify. These were the demands, some of the demands, that her lawyer team, her legal team, has demanded. And at least the Senate stood up and said, you don't run the Senate. You don't choose who we decide to subpoena or have as witnesses. Grassley has bent over backwards for this bitch. Why? Because the Republicans, due to them being males to begin with, don't want to look as though they are not being sympathetic towards this hashtag #MeTooLoser, okay? Because they might come off negatively to the public, and it would cause some sort of backlash on them and blah, blah, blah. All politics. That's the only reason Grassley's done what he's done. Politics. Period. End of story. What the Democrats are calling for on behalf of Mrs. Ford, by the way, Gillibrand, who has done multiple interviews, has not only obviously said she believes this person, but the FBI needs to get involved. Gillibrand doesn't even know who the fuck Ford is. She's never even met Ford. And she believes her. She believes her. How ridiculous is this whole situation? This is the only thing the Democrats could possibly come up with to try and derail this confirmation. Literally, they had no cards, no legislation, no Senate, what do you call it? Procedural thing they could pull to try and stop Kavanaugh from being confirmed. So they came up with this. Now this Thursday, 10 a.m., this bitch is supposed to come into D.C. and testify in front of the Judiciary Committee. Under what conditions, I do not know. It should be very interesting if she even shows up. And as far as I'm concerned, from what I understand, it's going to be a public hearing. It's going to have limited media in it, but someone's going to be in it, so it's going to be broadcast somewhere. I can't wait to see this bitch. And she said she took a lie detector test. People asked her, where the hell did you pay for this? Who paid for this lie detector test? They won't say. They will not say who did this. Why would you take a lie detector test? First of all, they are completely unreliable to begin with. And no joke, okay? Because I dealt in the military with people taking lie detector tests. I actually even had to take one when I knew for a fact something was untrue. And I told them it was untrue. But they wanted to see how accurately I could pass the test because it had to do with what I was doing, and it's a long story. I ended up passing that fucking lie detector test because of the fact I had trained myself for 2 weeks that what I had said in my head, that it was true. That it was true. And if you say a lie to yourself enough, you will believe it. And the lie detector test will believe it too. Lie detector tests don't even hold up in court most of the time. Why did she take one? And who paid for it? Why is Feinstein not releasing an unredacted letter to the Republicans? Why is Feinstein all of a sudden saying with these new allegations that they need to hold off on these Kavanaugh hearings? This is ridiculous. This whole situation smells to high heaven. It is all fucking bullshit. Mrs. Ford should have been dismissed based on the fact she has no facts. Period. The same with these next two allegations. Can't wait to hear about Michael Pooh's person that he has talking about gang rape. Can't wait to hear about that story. That guy went on every network for hours talking about the Stormy Daniels situation. He just humped the fucking liberal media and every chance he got to talk about it. So you know he's going to do the same thing. Whether it's true or not, he's going to do the exact same thing. But I can't wait to hear that fucking story. And this chick where he exposed himself. Where's your proof? Oh, I don't have any proof. But it did happen. It did happen. This is a ridiculous situation. And to be honest with you, it has raised my blood pressure. It has angered me to a whole new level. Because these women are fucking with our lives. She is literally fucking our lives. This has nothing to do with a judge that is going to some sort of circuit. This has to do with a SCOTUS judge. The court that determines the law of the land that everyone has to abide by. These bitches are fucking with your personal lives. This is touching every single American's life, what this bitch is doing and bitches are doing. This is not funny. The accusations are not funny. They're obviously false. This is ridiculous. I can't even say that enough. Out of all the shit that I have watched since I left the service, I started watching Congress and politics and politicians and all that shit towards the end of 2012. Okay? That has been, 4 years, right? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, I take it back. 6 years. I have been watching Congress diligently for 6 years. Hearings, the floor, legislation, and everything else. I have reported on it on my old channel that got deleted for 6 years. There has been nothing that has made me livid, furious. The other adjectives, just every adjective that would be pissed off, raging angry, than this situation. Because it affects my life personally. And that's how all of you should look at this situation too. This bitch is affecting your future. Bitches are affecting your future. And all of you need to think about that and consider that when you decide whether or not all these allegations are true or not. Period. End of story. This is Are You Ready For It? Take care, guys. Have a great day.